Okay. So till last class, we have seen how to modify the home page, basically how to get modify the background colors, or how to modify the layouts, and how to keep the announcements, and how to create a folder or a category. Under the category, how we can create a page entries. We have seen the front and perspective, basically the home page. Basically, whenever we get the Fusion applications provisioned, how we can modify the logo, or how we can modify the basic uh, uh, homepage functionalities, right? So let's go further. Let's go further and talk about what kind of personalizations and extensions that we can do on the Fusion applications, basically, right? So before going to that, so we have to understand some basic functionalities, basic requirements. First of all, we have to follow some thumb rules to make sure, to begin with. Number one, so if you wanted to modify any page, to introduce any new elements on the page, or modify the existing attributes of the page, or something like that, then first thing we have to know functionally. Example, you want to modify some absence management page, or some account payables page. Before modifying something, we have to understand, does that functionality is being offered out of that functional module? Because some of the properties of the fields, or some of the functionalities of the pages depends upon the system profile options, or some values depending upon some lookups. So we have to understand, does the functionality of that the functionality of that module is given any other functionality for that. That is the first thing we have to understand. So functionally, if it is not possible, then is the one we have to go to the real page modifications or page updates, like that. That is the one important thing we have to understand. Only then, once we decide that, okay, whatever the functionality out of the box is given by the Oracle, that is not possible in that module, then we have to think of how we can override that. Whatever the out of box feature is given, how we can override that, how we can modify that. That's what we need to look at. So the modifications, basically the number of ways of modifications, how it happens is, number one, we can add any content to the page. What do you mean by adding the content? Adding the content in sense, you can add a hyperlink, you can add an instructional text, or you can add a report to the page, or you can add a person image, or you can add in video to the page, or and there are many other options what you can do by adding. Basically, that's number one. We can do many things we can do. Okay, but to add any content to the page, we have to, there are few things which we need to see that page is feasible to take the additional components on the page. That is one thing we have to understand. That is the addition. So we have many more things which we can add. I will talk about that. And then changing the page appearances. One is adding the content, as I said, adding the images, videos, text, hyperlinks, or adding a new tabs, or adding a new pages. These are all adding. And other thing is changing the page appearances. Page appearance is changing the font style, or reordering the regions, or hiding the buttons, make field as mandatory, or showing the flex field segments on the screen, or modifying the dialog boxes, or or rearranging the toolbars, reordering the tabs, all the modifications on the page, we can categorize them as a page appearances. So changing the page titles. There are many things which we can do. Basically, making the field as required, making this field as read only, hiding the field. They're all changing the page appearances. Basically, that's the third part. So second part. So basically, we do add the contents, and then we do modify the page appearances. And there is one more thing called conditional changes. Conditional changes in sense, sometimes we don't want to hide that field in all the cases. We should hide the field only if that person is a supplier, or we have to make the field as read only if employee is accessing the screen. If manager is accessing the screen, then make it as editable. So based on the context of who is accessing, based on the context of when we are accessing, based on some things, we could able to change the properties of the page appearances. Okay, those things are called conditional changes, and we can do conditional changes using expression language, that is called EL, and we do write the expression language in the expression builder, which comes out of that page composer or application composer tools. That is the three cases what typically do we do in the Fusion applications. Okay, to do any of these three things, typically the first thumb rule is we have to make sure that is the module, a functional module, giving that feature out of the functionality of it. If it is not given, then only we should go with this cases. That is more important to know. Okay, right. So how do we add the content, or how do we modify the page appearances, or how do we do the conditional changes? How all these things are possible, right? So for that, typically we have Oracle has given two major tools. Basically, I would say, in reality, there are four kinds of tools which Oracle has given. Number one is a page composer. So page composer is very common tool, will be used for any Fusion applications. Though it is SaaS model application, PaaS model application, page composer is the one which we use very, very frequently to do any of the additions, or modifying the page appearances, or do the conditional changes. Okay, how do you access the page composer? To access any of those tools, typically we should enable the sandbox. That is a mandatory one step. So what I'm going to do, I am going to create a sandbox first. Okay, so I'm actually into the person, some HR specialist. I just logged in as some employee basically. Okay, so that I could see all the real data, and I'm going to create a sandbox here. And I'm going to say RB TV3 day 2. So I'm creating a sandbox. Once sandbox is created, then you can invoke those kinds of tools basically. That's the primary thing. So I enable a sandbox, and then I could invoke that. Okay. So the first thing is page composer, which will come for all the modules across all the Fusion applications, and also it is available in the either SaaS or PaaS or IaaS, anything. This page composer is typically available over the Fusion applications only. In the same browser, you could invoke the page composer and do your modifications. That is number one. Second tool is called application composer. What is an application composer? Application composer is actually used only in the CRM sales. Only in the CRM sales you will have application composer tool available, and that application composer tool has more flexibility than page composer. Using application composer, you can create our own custom object, and we can add those custom objects anywhere in the CRM sales pages basically. So that is application composer only for CRM sales. And the last one, okay, I'm saving it. So the third one is actually which is available as part of the PaaS model, that is called Visual Builder Cloud Service. We call it as VBCS. Example, we don't have access though. So Visual Builder Cloud Service typically it's a different tool basically. See, Visual Builder Cloud Service, we don't have access though. This Visual Builder Cloud Service is typically is another tool using which you can dynamically, with a zero coding, with a minimal JavaScripts, you can create any kind of pages basically. And those pages, basically in those pages, you can refer any object what is available in the Fusion application. You can drag and drop the object and keep creating that, keep creating the page in the Visual Builder Cloud Service, VBCS, which is very powerful user interface experience tool. But that too, using that tool, we can do many things. But the limitation with that tool is actually you cannot do update and inserts. You can only do the selection. Whatever you can create, you can drag and drop any object across the Fusion applications into that tool. But only thing is you can only read the data. You can only view the data. But you cannot, you can view the data, you can search for the data, but you cannot do any inserts or update and deletes. That is the problem with that. Okay. So in the typical Fusion applications, actually, if you go to one screen, let me enable this. The typical Fusion applications, what we can do, we can go to that specific page. In that page, we can do anything. What if you want a brand new page? In that brand new page, you wanted to refer data from the sales, or you wanted to refer data from the HR, you want to refer data from the finance, you refer data from multiple objects into one screen. That's not possible within the Fusion application. You cannot do the SaaS model. For that, you have to go by a PaaS VBCS service, Visual Builder Cloud Service, and VBCS Cloud Service. You can do that. You can create the page by combining getting the objects from multiple places. But the only thing is you can do only select and search, but you cannot do insert and update or delete. That is the third tool, VBCS. And the fourth one is basically ADF page, JDeveloper. Using the ADF framework, you can create your own custom pages, and you can deploy the pages in the Fusion applications. To get that, typically we have to go with a JCS called Java Cloud Service. Java Cloud Service is another tool, basically if you wanted to deploy your own custom pages that you have created in the ADF, sorry, in the JDeveloper. If you, whatever page you created in the JDeveloper, and if you want to deploy the pages in the Fusion applications, typically what you need to do, once you got your file created here, once you got your application created in the JDeveloper, you will create a WAR file. That WAR file has to be deployed in the Fusion applications. To deploy that in the Fusion applications, typically you need one more service called JCS, that is called Java Cloud Service. So we have something called JCS, Oracle Java Cloud Service. You have to get this Oracle Java Cloud Service to whatever application, Java application you created. You should have this Java Cloud Service to deploy that application. You could able to any Java application, and you could able to deploy it. And once you're able to deploy that, then you can refer that page in the Fusion applications anywhere. That is the fourth tool. Okay, so now, and as I said, first tools, a page composer and application composer is specific to the all SaaS products, and application is only for the CRM sales. Page composer is across every page, every module basically. So now I will talk about the page composer alone. I'm not talking about application composer and Java Cloud Service and VBCS, Visual Builder Cloud Service. Okay, right. So we know we use page composer. So how do you see the page composer? What is page composer? So what to do? So now our requirement to customize any page. Example, let us say So let us say I'm going to about me. About me means myself. So I have my personal information here. Okay. So personal information, I'm going here. Let us say in the personal information, our requirement is to let's the page open. So it is my personal information page. Okay. So my requirement is to, I want display message here. Okay. Maybe GDPR is coming. So we know GDPR basically where European Union data should reside in the European Union only. And there are some security policies coming up, right? So where no one should be able to identify, I mean, any company, we should not, I mean, we should give it more data privacy to the personal information. Example, our company wanted to, because every employee can go to about me screen, right? That's very possible. I want to display information, something like that. Uh, uh, your personal information is highly secured in the Oracle Cloud. If you have any questions, contact HR person. That's what I want to display here. Example, I want to keep a simple text here saying that that's information. Your personal information is very secure in the cloud. If you have any questions on your data discrepancies, please contact HR, something you want to keep it, right? So it means you want to add a content here. To add a content here, basically, as I said, we should invoke the Page Composer tool. To invoke the Page Composer tool, as I said, we should have the Sanbox enabled first, and then you have to invoke the Page Composer. So how do you invoke the Page Composer tool on top of it? For that, go drop down here, and we have something called Customize Pages. When you click on the Customize Pages, then it will ask at what level you wanted to customize this screen. Example, my requirement is to customize the screen at, I wanted to keep information here saying that your information is very secure. Please contact HR, something like that, right? So if you want to, do you want to keep the text for everyone in our company? Or do you want to keep the text specific to any country? Maybe, as I said, the GDPR rules are coming up across the European Union. If you wanted to keep any text specific to European Union countries here, if that is what your requirement, then you can choose, go to country here, at what country you want to show this information. Choose the specific country. Example, Germany only, I wanted to keep some information here. You can keep Germany. At Germany country level only this information will see. It means any Germany employee logs into the system, go to the personal information, only Germany employees can see the information and any other people cannot see. That is the level of customization. Okay, and no, I don't, it's not like that. Maybe I wanted to limit it by some divisions, or I want to limit it by some legal entities, or I want to limit it by some department. You want to limit by the organization, then typically you have to choose the organization level. Okay, so, and here you can choose whatever business unit, whatever legal entity, whatever organization, where you want to limit it. But our thing is, we are talking about the personal privacy, right? It means it's applicable to everyone. So I can keep it at site level. So if any employee logs into the system, they could be able to see it. So I'm going to, okay. So now I'm going to, okay. So when I say okay, then this Page Composer is invoked. No, it is a Page Composer. This Page Composer will be invoked on top of this page, which will have these tools here. And there will be some other tools come at the bottom as well. I will show that in a while. So it is a Page Composer. What does this Page Composer will contain? This Page Composer has two kinds of views. One is design view, one is source view. Okay, one is design view and one is source view. So what is a design view and what is a source view? So design view, what happens in the design view, by default we have add content, select and structure. We have these three things. Add content will come whenever this add content feature will basically to add the specific contents on the page. By default, if this page has a component called if a page content can only be added to a specific range within the page that has this panel group layout container. If there is any page where we have panel group layout or panel form layout and panel stretch layout container, in those cases, if this page has those containers, then you will have a field called add content enabled here. Okay, example, let us say in the performance screen, I'm not sure the performance or goals, some screen, goal screen probably. See that in the goal screen, it has that panel group layout, panel form layout, panel stretch layout enabled here. That is the reason these add content buttons are enabled. Whereas if you go to personal information, you are not seeing those things anywhere here because this page don't have that layouts available here. Okay, because modification of page by page, every page by page design is different, and we are actually working on top of that. So to work on top of it, we have to follow some certain rules. And another rule is if we have that panel layout or panel stretch layout or group layout available, then only you can do that. How do we know if that is available or not? The first thing, if we by default it is in design mode. In the design mode we have add content, select and structure. In the add content, by default you could see those add content button if that panel stretch layout is available. If it's not available, you won't see the add content buttons at all. Okay, that is one kind of validation. Other kind of validation is go here in your design, click on source. If you click on source view, then automatically at the bottom you will be getting a layout here. Okay, this is actually what happens is it will have indicators to each and if indicator and a component name and component properties of each and every component available in the screen. That is the reason whenever you are moving this mouse over here, everything, whenever it is saying green is enabled, it means, example, if this green is available. Okay, if you click on this one and observe the bottom actually, if you click on this one, then automatically it will ask, do you want to edit this task flow? Do you want to edit this last name? Because you are opening a task flow which is actually shared. So if you modify the last name here, the same last name is being shared. This same last name field actually, this field is being shared at the multiple places. If you do the changes here, same change will also be affected in the other places too. So do you want to modify it? Then if you wanted to use, then you can say edit. Then automatically here it will go to the entry. See, it will go to the output text entry. So basically the panel label message is the last name, and the last name we have the output text as Fayette, and you want to modify this Fayette, this output text. Then it will go here, and now on this label you could able to do some modification. You can go and show the properties of Fayette, and you can say what modifications you wanted to do on top of it basically, and those modifications are available here which you can do the changes accordingly. Okay, and maybe example, if you don't want to show this one, then you can uncheck this. It won't show the component at all. That is one modifications. Or do you want to change the style of it? You want to change the color of the font? Do you want to change the width and height of the font? Or you wanted to give the font family, example Arial, sans serif, like that, then automatically the font family will change. You want to make it bold, it will go to bold. You want to give a background image for that, then you have to give an image like this in this URL, open braces, and the image. And you want to give a top spacing, basically top, left, bottom, and right, then you can do that. Apart from all these things, instead of that, you want to write your own CSS styles here, then you could able to write your own CSS class here to modify this whole properties. So every field will have its own properties. Those properties can be visible if you go to the source view. Once you go to source view, once you go to the field what you wanted to modify, if you want to modify the whole thing, then if you go to modify first name, and this first name is actually panel label and message, and this first layer you could able to modify it. If you see that panel label, select one in choice, and output text, these are all built based on the ADF framework. Okay, so example, when we created the ADF framework previously, I mean, when we are talking about as part of our ADF things, whatever text we have here, whatever components we dragged and dropped here, those things basically input text, our button, our panel label message. See that panel label message, output text. See here, if you go here, panel label message, output text. So these things are built. These are all nothing but the ADF components. Because that is the reason whatever naming convention ADF is defined, those same naming conventions will be available basically. Okay, same thing available here. So panel label message, or do you want to modify the panel label message instead of first name you wanted to give something else? Okay, then you can go here and go and change the properties accordingly. So I don't want the label as first name, then I just want to modify this label, then I can go to expression builder and I can take out this formula and I can give my own. I will talk about expression language in a while. I can give my own formula basically. So these things are possible with this page composer. Okay, that is the source view. Source view, in the source view only you can see this blue icons enabled here. Wherever blue is enabled means those things we can select and do the modifications accordingly basically. Where is not choosing? Yeah. So wherever you wanted to modify, then you can go there and modify the properties of the content accordingly. Okay, we'll do some modifications. And if you go design mode, again you will see these three things enabled: add content, select, and structure. So add content, as I shown to you, we can add the content if they have panel stretch layout panel stretch layout or panel group layout enabled. We can add the contents here and we can choose the layouts. And the second thing is called select. What select will do? So whenever you add some contents, basically, whenever you add some contents to the page, basically, then you could able to select that content and edit the component there and there itself. If you edit the component, it's nothing but again the same page will come up. How do you want to change the properties? How do you want to change the layout? So it will come up accordingly. There's nothing here. Nothing is available in this page. Example, if you go to the performance page, there is a video here. Okay. So whenever you click, sometimes if you click on it, it won't navigate basically. It won't navigate. Then you have to observe which mode you are in, because I am in select mode. That is the reason none of these things are working. So whenever I'm in the select mode, whenever I'm navigating, it is just thinking it is a field on which you wanted to apply some properties. It is giving edit component here. Okay. So then in that case, only in the add content tab, you will have provision to navigate from one page to another page if you are in this design mode. If you're in source mode also, you cannot able to navigate from one page to another page because everything has the field properties enabled. Okay, then you have to make sure what mode you are in and go to design mode, and in the design mode, in the add content mode, you could able to navigate. If you are feeling difficulty in any of these cases, then just close it and then go to whatever page you wanted to. Go to the respective page, and then if you wanted to customize this page and to go to that page, again go to this customize pages, choose the page, and go whatever level you wanted to customize. Go there, and now you can modify. You can do the changes accordingly. Okay, that's what you can do. Okay, right. So it is a page composer. And the last one is structure. Structure is same as the source view. In the structure also, you could able to choose what or field you wanted to modify, and you can do the modifications accordingly. You can modify the add goal. If you don't want to make it as add goal, you want to make it as some different name, you can go and do the modifications. We can do all those things. Okay, this is a page composer. Now let's do some changes, and let us see how. We will start with some simple things, and then we'll keep increasing the complexities. Okay, so I will introduce you to some things which is very useful, and you can work on them accordingly. So now let us say my requirement is there are many things we can do, and there are many various combinations we can do, but the number of combinations are very limited. So once you cover all those 40-50 combinations, then we are experts in this personalizations on the Fusion applications. Okay, so let us say every screen we know we have the left side, you have this navigations. Example, I'm in goal screen. In that it is my goals, and below my team goals. Okay, example, I wanted to keep one more tab here along with my goals, my team goals. I want to keep something else here. Okay, or if you're my performance, in the my performance, along with my performance, my team performance, or my manager evaluations, along with my organization, along with my feedback request, I wanted to keep something else where I could keep some more information, something like that. So how do you like to add more tabs? Basically, how can we add a tab in the existing tabs? These are all called panels actually. Panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4. How can I add a panel 5 here and add my more content? Number 1. And here we have the panel list actually. It is called panel list. And example, I want to add my own link here. And if I click on the link, I want to go somewhere. Or I wanted to hide some links, whatever links are, some things are there, I want to hide it out. Or I want to reorder it. I want to bring it up and bring it down. I want to reorder it or reshuffle it how I wanted to do. Same thing, I wanted to do the reorder here, how I wanted to do. Okay, so those things again, basically to do all those things again, we have to, the first step for that is to go to the structure. Okay, so in the pay performance, you want to go to the structure. So I'm just closing this, and I'm going to the tools and structure. In the structure, we have we should go for performance. Performance is under about me. So go down, there is about me here. Under about me, we have the performance. Okay, so yeah, it's still opening up. So under that, and about me, in the performance, we will open the performance. In the performance, we should have a provision to add one more tab. Typically, how this Fusion works is it won't allow us to add tab in all the screens. So if you wanted to add a new tab, any other thing, we have to evaluate that. We have to go to the tools and structure, and we have to evaluate that page is allowing us to add one more tab. That is the first evaluation. And if there is a place to add one more tab, what happens typically is Fusion allows only one tab to add. It won't allow more than one tabs. First check whether space allows or not. Second thing, only we can add only one thing. We cannot add more than one to the tabs. What happened? Okay, it opened up. So under about me, I wanted to go to performance. So click on performance. So under performance, now you can see the performance has three things. One is the page, because it will have the icon and it will have that source name basically, and it has an expression builder saying that to whom it should show up, to whom it should not show up, and what is a group. It is under about me, right? It is under about me. And now here we have tabs and we have a panel tabs. I was showing, right? At the left we have a tabs and the right we have panel tabs. And here we have my evaluations, my manager evaluations, my organization, my feedback request. And if you wanted to change the properties of the icon, you can change it. Or if you wanted to make it visible and not visible, then you can make it, you can modify it here. And if you want to reorder it, you can reorder it here by clicking on the up and down. You can do the reorder accordingly. And these things will work. These things will happen like this only once the sandbox is enabled here. That is the primary thing. Okay, right. So it has, I made up and down. It has EL expression. Basic expression language says that it should be visible only for certain people. It should not be visible for certain people. We have some evolution here. We'll talk about this expression language in detail. Okay. So now we have, after all four, we have some line here saying that it will allow one tab. Click on it. Then it will allow one tab. Okay, so here I will say RB rainbow evaluation, something like that. Sorry, is it a question?
Pages on the pages. URL based.
Oh, okay, I think it's not a question to me. All right, so right, I kept it name as RB evaluation and icon. Do you want to change the icon? Then we can change the icon from the existing set. And if you want your icon to be added here, just raise a SR with Oracle with your image. They will add your icon here. Okay. Once you have that, then you could able to add your image here basically. So I'll go here and I'll keep the same image, whatever we have. Oh, and choose, sorry. Once choose the image, I will make visible for everyone for now. Okay, so I will take the evaluation, something like that. Okay, and I want to make it visible for everyone for now, and I want to give it at the bottom of it. Okay, now my RB evaluation is available on the left side basically. Okay, now panel tabs. Panel tabs means at the right side I was showing, right? Is it like a notepad? We have three icons. So yeah, we have the, sorry, that is panel tabs will have three things. One is the tasks. Okay, so let me open a different screen. So if you see about me in the performance, we have seen in the left side we have seen these three: search, task list, and then the reports analytics basically. So these three things are available here: search and the task. Under the task we have the list of tasks, subgroup, right? We have the subgroups here. We have the administration, monitoring, all these things, subgroups here. And if you wanted to make it visible or hide something like that, and if you want to reorder it, you can reorder it within administration. If you wanted to reorder them, or if you want to make them visible and not visible, you have the provision for that. All these things you can control from here on the tasks. And similarly for the reports, if you wanted to make it available or not, then you can modify it accordingly. Okay, so these are two things, and it won't allow us to add one more panel tab. It doesn't. Okay, so we have added only one tab, RP evaluation. Before saving and close, there is something called create duplicate. What does it do? Similar to the performance icon, what I have, I want to create another duplicate of it. Okay, and I want another duplicate of it, and I want that to get it modified thoroughly and use it. Yes, you can do that. So Ideally, it's very rarely we do that, but sometimes yes, there's a provision for us to completely create a new perform to new thing, new, I mean, same name with a different, same performance with a different name, and do that modifications accordingly, and maybe we make that visible only for certain people like that. We can do that. There's a provision for that. Okay, I did modifications, and I'm saving and close. And again, whatever changes I have done, those changes are still available only in the sandbox. It won't get affected for everyone yet. Okay, I did it. Now, if I go back to home and again go back to about me and again go back to performance, in that now I could able to see the fourth tab, what I have added here. See that? My evaluations, my manager evaluations, my organization, my feedback request, and rainbow evaluation. So we created a brand new page here. We got a brand new page here. Okay. Once you got a brand new page, so what you can do on top of it? If it's a brand new, then you can add your own content on top of it, basically. Okay. Right. To do the modifications on this page, what we need to do, we need a page composer tool. So that let's invoke the page composer tool, customize pages. Once customized page is available, maybe I wanted to show this for everyone, or you wanted to make this tab only for specific countries. Exactly, we can do. There's no problem. We can go and choose. It should visible only for the United States country. It means whoever is employee under the United States legal employer, only those people can see the icons here. Okay, for our easy to use, I am making it site level so it is effective for everyone. And now this page by default has the panel group or panel stretch layout. You could able to see the add content here. So it means you can add your own content to this page. Okay, and you can add content. While adding the content, you have a lot of provision. This add content has three things. If you wanted to add another box on top of it, or add another content at the bottom of it, or add another content at the left of it, or add another content at the right of it. What do you mean by that? What I mean, if example, if you want to keep right of it, if I click on plus, I got another add content here. So already add content is there. We add one more content on the right side. Okay, what you can add? Okay, what you can add is you can click on add content. You can add very number of components you can add here. One is application component. What is an application component? It is application component. Application. Application is application. Basically, whatever applications we wanted to embed any application to the Fusion application, you can do that. As we are in SaaS model, this application content is very limited. If you create your own application and deploy in the cloud in the PaaS model, then you will see more number of lists in the application content. Okay, but if you click on the application content now, whatever SaaS model offers in this page, only those two are available here. Example, Fusion is offering these two applications to get added in this page. One is service request, one is workflow notification approvals. This page supports these two applications to get added. How we got it? Oracle decides that. You don't have a much control of it. What is a workflow notification approvals? If you wanted to show what all the workflow are pending for your approval, whatever notifications you received, those things will be available here. What is service request is actually, if you Oracle came up with a new module called help desk module in release 13. Basically what we can do, we can create a tickets to the HR people, or create a tickets to the any departments in the company. If you have any questions related to the finance, then you can create a ticket to the finance analyst. That is called service request. And if you wanted, this is a new module. Those two things came up here. If I click on our notification approvals, what it will do, it will add the application here. Say I added it. Now what it will do, whatever notifications are pending, right? Those notification list will come up here. So what this person can do, this is expandable. This person can do, this person can act on the notifications from this here itself. So what we are doing, we are adding the workflow notifications applications in this page by adding add content. Okay, we are enabling that. And why we have only two applications there? Because we're in SaaS model. Okay, I added it here. Okay, and I will add another content here. This time what I will do, I will add instead of this request, what I will do, we have a few more things called components, learning management, and report analytics. What is report analytics? We can add your own reports here. You can add your own reports, whatever you have got created. Example, these reports analytics is very useful. Basically, example, we are in the performance module. Maybe you wanted to display all the performance reports or performance related dashboards or performance related application reports. You want to add it here. Then typically this page you can add your own components here. You can do that. Okay, so reports analytics, you can go here. I will add report analytics at the bottom. So for now, let's say learning management. What is learning management? What is learning management? Learning management is again what another module. Basically, what we do in learning management, we create the learning materials, right? And we will learning materials. We will allow employees to go and choose for the classes, register for the classes, do the self-enrolled classes. Sometimes we create learning management to learn the fusion. Sometimes we create learning management components to learn how to create a good performance document or how to fill the appraisal, something like that. If you have those contents available, then if those contents are ready-made available here, you can add those videos, if you have that, then you can add those videos in this page. Okay, I'm not sure whether these videos will work or not, but I will just try to add. So what you can do, you can add the videos here. Basically, I added the component, but I don't think it has okay, so I added the video, but yeah, I'm not sure if it has any video, but if it has any learning video available here, that video will show up here basically. So I don't think it's anything available here. Let's take it out and let's add content of instead of videos, because I didn't test anything else, any of these things you cannot do. So instead of videos, what I will do, we can go and add the components. Component is a major thing which we typically use. Basically, you can add the text box, you can add the hyperlinks, you can add the HTML markups, means your HTML code can be added here, or you can add your images here, or you can add the web pages here. Adding web page is nothing but, example, if you wanted to add a web page here. So example, once you add it, it will add here. So close it and come here and go to this edit. And here the source by default, it will be like this. So now here you can say that https://google.com. Or sometimes what people will do, sometimes we can give example. Last time we have discussed about giving the directory, right? Where is it? So you had to talk about discussing giving directory, right? So we can give this directory here directly, or we can something like that. Or we can give it like this, and we can apply. Okay, then typically, yeah, it is still rendering. Typically, what is a better way to do is, typically we give the deep links in the web pages basically. So example, deep links in the same thing what I have given here. If you give that deep links here, then typically they work for sure, because there is no ports, nothing will be controlling here. So we could able to render those web pages directly here. See that? So we could able to get the directory page directly here. But we can go here and search for the pages accordingly, and we can control the flow like that. Go here and search for, I mean, yeah, we can increase, we can change the size basically. So we can and John, then automatically this application will get executed, and we have the provision to see all the information. Why it is coming up like this? Because we are in still sandbox. Okay, so we can do that. We can add pages here. Okay, and you can add more contents at the bottom. Basically, you can add more contents here. Okay, and here you can add a report if you wanted to. So here I'll go here and add a report. So in the shared folders, custom, under the custom, we have to create some reports, right? So let's go there and add any report. Let us say add this absence analysis report, and automatically you could be seeing that report rendering up here. So this report is rendering, so it takes some time, and we could able to get the report here. So yeah, we can add as many components as you want in the application. You can you could able to do it, and you can add your more components here in this blank page basically. So once you have this done, then you can simply close it. Then automatically those pages will start. Oh, where is that? Oh, it came up like this. Okay, we can resize this one accordingly. So once we have those things, then typically if anyone navigates from different pages, basically they could able to see it. Now still we didn't committed this one into the application yet. We didn't commit these changes yet. These changes are still in the sandbox. People who use the sandbox, they can only see that. So typically now, if this person go to about me and go to the performance, this person could able to see all those changes here. Okay, and once we commit these changes, then only that they could able to see, everyone could able to see these changes accordingly. And as it is application, basically any changes of this user will only be visible here. If someone else logs in, they could able to see their own information here, right? This is one way of adding your own tabs here, and it is one place where you can add as much information as you want. That is one this is one place where you can do that basically. Okay, right, this is one example. Let's go further. So here we are talking about, in the personal information, we are talking about adding a text here, right? So how do we do that? Okay, to do the text, again, what we need to do, we need to enable the page composer. Let's go there and enable the page composer. And I'm doing it site level. Okay, so here you won't see the add content available anywhere here, right? Then how do you can you add the content here? For that, you have to go to the source view. Once you go to the source view, then typically you will have the component list here. Then you can go and choose it here, or you can go and choose it here. Either ways is okay. So typically choosing here will be good. So here, if you click on the My Details, it is saying that you are about to touch the properties of My Details, which is actually a shared component. Shared component means whatever changes you do here, those changes will show up in other screens as well in the My Details screen. Okay, you are saying, okay, I'm allowing for that, right? It is actually coming here, My Details. So under My Details, it came My Details here. Now what I will do, I will add components in the My Details. Okay, so if plus is available, you can add some component here. Here it is the properties of My Details. Add properties, delete. Delete won't support for most of the pages. Click on plus. Then here you can add a component here. And what you are trying to add here, I was trying to add a simple text basically, or I will just add a HTML page, basically HTML text. Okay, so I'll click on add. Then what happens? HTML markup page will come here. Now, as the blue mark came up here, it means that only this much size data is allowed. Okay, up to this much size and this much length only allowed. We cannot modify more than this. It means if you wanted to add one more value on top of it, it won't add it won't add at the bottom. Actually, it will add on top of it. Okay, so better not to add any more components. If you want to add any more components, remove this and add one more. Okay, example, I want to add, if you think that after HTML markup I wanted to add a text at the bottom, then if you click and go on add text. Okay, before adding text, see that when I say HTML markup, under page details we got HTML markup frame and output text, because it is a frame and it is a text. It came up here. Now if I go and add a text on top, a text, if you're thinking that I want to add text at the bottom, if you go and click on add, it actually overrides it. Why? Because only we have this much length, this much width and this much length. It has overridden. And we got the text as well here, which is overridden the detail HTML markup. That is the reason, as it is saying that only this limited space, we have to take only one component at a time. That is one thing we have to guess based on what we are seeing. Okay, so what I will do, I have two. So I don't want the text. Basically, I want markup only. So either I can delete it. Not everyone will have access to delete it. Maybe this person may or may not have access to delete this one. Click on delete. So are you sure you want to delete this component? Yes, delete it. It is say delete component is not supported on the current customization layer because this person may not have access for it. So in that case, what I will do, I will hide it. If I hide it, then I can see only HTML markup, right? So what I will do, I'll go to this detail frame text and go to the properties of it. In the properties, we have something called show component. If you click on the uncheck the show component and apply it, automatically it will go away. So click on OK. Now that is got hidden. Now I have only HTML markup. So how I can modify it? Basically, there are several ways you can modify this. Choose that one and go to the properties and modify it. Or other way is to go from view to design. Okay, and here you will have the HTML markup properties, edit, and here you can able to enter the value here. By default, it has some text here. Basically, you can go ahead and create expression builder and write your own text here. You can write your own HTML text here like that. You can write your own HTML, write your own something like that. Something like that. You can write your own text here, and that text can be modified here as well. You can do that, right? So typically, what I will do, I will just go here and so typically I use this tool basically, which will convert my text into the text into my text HTML. Okay, with respect your personal information, please contact HR for any data issues, something like that. Okay, and I would say personal information, I would say P capital, I capital, and I would say bold color, and I would say some red color. Please contact HR, color and bold color, something like that. And see, this got it here. So just copy it and keep it here. Okay. Oh, didn't copy. So copy to clipboard, copy it here, and then apply. Okay. So now it came at the bottom, but once we close this page composer, this HTML markup will go away. Then automatically this text will come up. That is one thing we have to test accordingly. So just to close it, see this, we respect your personal information. Please contact HR for any data issues. We got the text added here. And this my details is the shared text. Shared text instance, wherever my details is there, in that places, this information will keep coming up. Right. So basically, when we open this strip will have the list of tasks here. So basically, in the strip, whatever tasks are there, in the most of the cases, this details will be available in all those cases. Example, if I go from performance to goals, there also I can see my details page here. See my goals, and this is carry forwarded. Okay, if you go to personal information, there also you can see this information. Okay, why? Because this component, this specific component is actually being shared across multiple places. Basically, it's being shared across everything. That is the reason you are seeing like this. Okay, so still I'm in Sanbox. This is not yet committed, so we can do the modifications here.
Lakshmi, this will come for all the users?
This will come for, yes, as it is site level.
Yeah.
And this will come for all the users. So if I go here and publish the Sanbox, how do you publish the Sanbox? Go here, more, to test the changes. So these are the changes what we have done.
Yeah.
So before the thumb rules here, before committing the changes, download the changes first. Keep it with you. So it will download all the changes and keep those changes with us. So let me go to download. So this is my changes. So I'll make sure this is with you, because this will say what changes we have, what changes are gone with this Sanbox. That's why we have to keep it with us. For any reason, if any issue happen, it is a only reference for us to say that these are the changes we have done. So download and keep it with us, and then publish. Publishing means we are committing the changes to the mainline code. It's very, very important that whatever changes you are done, make it thoroughly tested, make it sure that everything everywhere it is right, and publish it. Publishing the Sanbox will take you to the home page. Yep. Yes. Then all my changes are committing to the database now. It means whatever changes I do now, those changes will be immediate effect to any user, right? So I'm logging out now. Well, let me check by this user first. Personal information, and this personal information, this person could able to see whatever changes we have done. And in the performance, in the personal information tab, this is the information we did it. In the performance tab, we have this one and we have this one, and within that we have created one workflow notifications application here, and we have one report here, and we have one thing here. Okay. Now what I will do, I will log out.
If I want to reverse the Sanbox changes, I can do that, right?
Reversing the Sanbox changes is not easy, not as simple as such. Okay. So if you want to reverse the Sanbox, you cannot revert it, but you can delete the change. Sorry, there is not happening. You can delete whatever changes done on this page. I will show you that. Okay. Before that, let me test it, and then I will come back here and delete the changes whatever I have done. So I'm signing it out as this user, and confirm it, and then I'm logging in as some other user, maybe Bob Boyle, who is actually sales manager. He's another Sanbox. Let me exit this Sanbox. Someone else created it. Okay. So now if I go to about me of this Bob Boyle, and if I go to the personal information of Bob Boyle, then whatever changes, because we did site level, those changes will show for this user as well. It will be. And similarly, if the person go to the performance, in the performance, that person will able to see this new icon here. In this new icon, he could able to see his own work list now. Based on what our work list is available, it will be here. And if the person has access to this absence, if it is based on the analysis, the person has access to the absence management analysis, then this report will display. Else it won't display any information. Okay, this person will have access to. Right, so this changes. Now, if you wanted to take out these changes, so what we need to do? Not everyone can do the change. So typically, only administrators can do the changes. Basically, that we should have the application implementation analyst, and we should have the respective module administrator role. So typically, HCM IMPL 9 should have that access. So go to that and go to About Me page and go to personal information page. And as HCM IMPL 9 is not an employee, you won't be seeing any information here. But you could able to see what customizations are available on the screen. So before see the customizations, we have to make sure we are in the sandbox. If you enable create a sandbox here, then typically what happens, you will be now see now our sandbox access. So go to that and go to About Me page and go to personal information page. And as HCM IMPL 9 is not an employee, you won't be seeing any information here. But you could able to see what customizations are available on the screen. So before see the customizations, we have to make sure we are in the sandbox. If you enable create a sandbox here, then typically what happens, you will be now see now our sandbox is gone. Whatever we created for day 2, it is gone now. If you want to see the published sandbox, click the view published sandbox. In the view published sandbox, you could able to see the sandboxes that we have published already. You will list out all the sandboxes which are was published in this instance. It's a long list, looks like. So yeah. So now what I'm planning to do, I am going to see what customizations are there on the screen. Because if you wanted to revert back the changes, it's not like pulling out what sandbox we applied and revert it. We cannot do like that. Once the sandbox is published, it means you are committing all the changes what are we have done of that sandbox into the mainline code. Once it is committed, there is no way to revert back to that point. Only thing what we can do, we have to know what all changes we have done on that and delete those changes manually. That's what we can do. So that is what I'm trying to demonstrate here.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah. So yep. So
but to delete the changes, you don't need to create one more sandbox, right?
To delete the changes, yes, we have to be in the sandbox.
You have to be in the sandbox.
Have to be in the sandbox.
That becomes a new sandbox definition.
What is it? I missed it.
That which means basically that's a new sandbox
Yes.
definition. Like you're creating a new
Exactly.
sandbox just
Exactly.
to reverse another sandbox.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
So yeah, these are all list of sandboxes which we have created till now. So basically, yeah, it's a huge list. There's no sorting here. So basically, once the sandbox are it will just show the name of it, what is the label of it, and that's it. You won't be getting any other information from this sandbox. That is the reason I was telling you to download it before committing it. It is the only thing which we will be maintaining on our own. You won't get information from here. We cannot download any information from here. You won't get it. It's only give the label. What is the label? Basically, how it works is if you give the label to the Oracle, they will tell you what changes have happened. We cannot tell it. So that is the reason. Download the sandbox changes before committing it, and then do your changes basically. And then if you wanted to delete the personalizations, go ahead, create one more sandbox. So once you create the sandbox, once you make it active, you will again go back to the home page. So it's better to create the sandbox in the home page first, and then navigate to whatever screen we wanted to create the personalizations or change the personalizations like that. And how about your schedules tomorrow? So actually, I want to continue this personalization even tomorrow too. I mean, if everyone is available.
Lakshmi, can I request one thing?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not available this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because my son has a cubing competition. I have to take him there for it's a national competition.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. So what I request is, once you finish this course, can we do it then? One extra class where we can.
Right. So yeah. So what actually we can do basically, we can continue it from Monday morning onwards. We can skip 2 days. We continue Monday morning onwards, and that extra class I may take next weekend.
Okay, that's fine. Next weekend is fine.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Great. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, then our next class will be on Monday morning, your time. So,
yes.
Yeah. I'm enabling the sandbox now. And now it's going back to the home page. So now I will go back to my About Me, the personal information page. And now here I could see what customizations are there. So I'll go to this and more, and I could say, oh no, not here, sorry. I could go here and I could say manage customizations. So this manage customizations will say what changes you have done on this page. So this is the page. It will say that this page has some customizations. So what customizations are available on this page? You can download all the customizations of all layers. All layers in sense on this page, you might have the customization site level or country level or organization level. You can download all the layers of the changes. Just save it. And then you can go here and you can extract it. Extract it, and here you can go to the respective page at the site level. Typically in this page we have, it is called customization site level, and we have, this is the page. So typically we had a little bit understand what is this page about, basically. We did. The same page. Yeah, it's the same page. So this is the page. Basically, actually we added the, yeah, I think now I understood what we did. Basically, whatever changes we have done on this, which we did it on the performance, I think. The about me, whatever information we have. Let me do one thing. Let me go to the real user, because it's not giving right information. So let me go and log in as this user. And let me go to the sandbox and enable the sandbox v2. v2 and go to about me, go to personal information. And in the personal information, we have this. So let's see, let me go to performance, because I know I have did more customization in this screen. Go to manage customizations and yeah, site name. So download customization for all layers, save the file, and we have two customizations. So if we go and delete the customizations, we have all layers. If we delete it, okay, so whatever customizations were there, we have deleted that. We close it. Actually, it is not working as expected. Basically, why I am suspecting that, the reason is this page is not having any customizations, basically. So let me see this page. Yeah, it's not having the changes whatever we have done. Basically, typically what should happen, whatever changes we have done, all those changes should come up in this customizations folder. Basically everything should come up, but we are getting only one file, and even that file also doesn't showing up anything. So that is the reason when I'm deleting the customizations by going to manage customizations. Sorry.
Lakshmi, it's okay. I got the concept.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll check on that, let you know. Okay. So yeah. So what I will do, I will cover a few more examples next session, and then I will talk about expression language and how we can hide the fields conditionally. That's what I'll be telling next session. And with that, personalizations will be complete. And next 2 days, I'll talk about the workflows basically. And with that, our complete technical session will be done. And the next weekend, I'll be taking about special class on the web services to complete to do the automations from end to end, from beginning to sending the file to receiving the error report. So I will do that in the next weekend. Okay. So
thank you, Lakshmi.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, so you have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. See you all. Yeah. So any questions to Mahantesh or Shashank?